Hello everyone, in today's video we will talk about some tips and tricks to write performant React components. Internally, React already uses several clever techniques to minimize the number of costly DOM operations required to update the UI. For many applications, using React will lead to a faster user interface without doing much work to specifically optimize for performance. However, there are several ways you can use to speed up your React application. Tip number 1. Avoid reconciliation. React builds and maintains an internal representation of the rendered UI. This representation lets React avoid creating DOM nodes and accessing existing ones beyond necessity. Sometimes it is referred to as a virtual DOM. When a component's prop or state change, React decides whether an actual DOM update is necessary by comparing the newly returned element with the previously returned one. When they're not equal, React will update the DOM. Even though React only updates the changed DOM nodes, re-rendering still takes some time. In many cases, it's not a problem, but if the slowdown is noticeable, you can use one of the three following approaches to speed all of this up. Number 1. Overriding the lifecycle function should component update, which is triggered before the re-rendering process starts. The default implementation of this function returns true, leaving React to perform the update. The second approach is to use React Memo. For a functional component, we could use React Memo along with use callback. For a class component, avoid using arrow function or anonymous function like this. For a class component, you can also specify the shouldComponentUpdate method. It can compare the next props, next state, and next context with the current prop, state, and context to determine whether an update is needed. Approach number 3 is to use React Pure Component. The principle of React Pure Component is that it will render the same result and skip updates if the component is given the same props and state. React Pure Component implements shouldComponentUpdate method with a shallow prop and state comparison. The shallow comparison algorithm is as following. When you have a normal function or an arrow function or anonymous function as component prop, you should wrap them around React use callback or React use memo. The tip number 2, merge related states and don't call setState unnecessarily. We can handle click update in state. For example, if some data is not needed on a page, we can store them somewhere else instead of in the component state. Tip number 4, use key property whenever you can to speed up React diffing process. React uses a diffing algorithm to figure out the needed updates, and the key to speed it up is to properly set the key property. And here are the general comparison steps.